Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to what is my first live gig vlog. After discussions this afternoon with my creative director, it was decided that this would become my very first live gig vlog. So this evening, I was at the Peace Hall in Halifax to watch Paul Weller, supported by Miles Kane. Now, before the gig, I didn't really know much about Miles Kane. I just knew the name. I had to look him up and found he was previously with the Rascals and also sang with Alex Turner out of Arctic Monkeys in the project called La Shadow Puppets. So you might have heard of them. So I didn't know what to expect with him, but we got there, got in through the gates, went and bought a round, a lovely double gin and tonic, but not at the price of £27 for a round of four drinks. At this point, I'd just like to point out that I spent the evening with my good mate and schoolmate Scotty and his two kids, who aren't kids anymore, they're adults now. So Josh and Hannah were with us. I think they got a bit embarrassed later on in the night when we were doing our sort of like dad dancing kind of thing, but we certainly had a good time. I'm pretty sure they did too, really, but whether they'll let on to that, I don't know. Yeah, so Miles Kane came on stage around 7 o'clock, did about 45 minutes. Having listened to the set, I was quite impressed by him. I thought it was a very good support act. Very rocky, indie rock, I'd describe him as. Bit retro, definitely got a vibe of T Rex about some of the stuff, and I think he's been noted for that in the past. But I thought his best songs were the first song and the last song that he played. Troubled Sun was the opening track, and I think Come Closer was the closing track. There was one track which was called Coup de Grace, which was all right, but it seemed to go on for quite a while, to be fair. So maybe that wasn't such a good track. And the other track that caught my attention was one called Sunlight in the Shadows. You can probably catch these songs on YouTube in their own right. So, yeah, overall, impressed with what I saw with Miles. I think he's a Scouser from his accent. He had a bit of a swagger about him, I'd say. He's got a very good stage presence. So, I would certainly recommend if he's in your local area and the price of a ticket isn't too expensive, maybe to go along and see what you think about him. So, yeah, I enjoyed Miles. So, 45 minutes, like I say, so on to quarter to 8. And then Weller appeared on stage just before 8:15. Um, I was a bit apprehensive about this gig actually because I wasn't sure what to expect from him. Having seen previous reviews and set lists from tours that he'd done in the past, I actually thought it could be a bit of an anticlimax. But as it turned out, it was very, very good. We got an eclectic mix of music, a bit like the smells in the Peace Hall tonight. They were very eclectic. There was a vibe going on, a mix of weed, which probably shouldn't be there, barbecue food, and grapefruit flavoured vape. So if you mix all those in, you get quite an interesting flavour going on. Anyway, back to the music itself and the gig. And yeah, Paul seemed to be on pretty good form this evening. He seemed happy, enjoying himself. A lot of effing and jeffing. But that's normal for Weller for one of his gigs, I believe. It's the first time I've seen him. Scotty's seen him a few times before, and he was very impressed by the fact that he actually played like 2 to 2.25 hours this evening. So I was very happy about that. I think what pleased me most was the fact that he doesn't normally do that many of his jam or style council songs, but he did quite a lot tonight. I think it must have been 6 or 7 jam songs and at least four. He did blocking 3 songs together for style council and did Long Hot Summer separately afterwards. Um, Personally, I prefer the jam and the style council stuff to his solo stuff, but he has got some really good solo songs. Things like Wildwood, Changing Man, You Do Something to Me, Broken Stones is probably my favourite one of his solo pieces of work. Um, Jam stuff. He did the one surprise he didn't do tonight is he normally does That's Entertainment, and he has done it. He did it last night at Lincoln, but he didn't do it tonight. He swapped the set list around a little bit from last night as well. So instead of ending with Town Called Malice, he did a lot earlier in the set, but that went down really well. It was very well received because it's one of the tracks that people are familiar with by him. He also did the song about Halifax, which is called Strange Town. What else have we got from the Jam catalogue? We had Precious early on. We had that, I think it was the second song actually. We had English Rose, which I quite like as well. We had Let's think what else we had. We had Eton Rifles, which got all the crowd bouncing. That was great. And the Style Council songs, Scotty was really hoping for Shout to the Top. He got that. He got My Ever Changing Moods. Have You Ever Had It Blue? Well, there were three songs that he played together, and then he played Long Hot Summer separate, like a jazzed up piano version, which I thought was really, really good. Um, so um, all in all, it was a very good performance. Like I say, it lasted just over I think it was close to 2 hours and 15 minutes. The crowd certainly seemed to be into it. There didn't seem to be people drifting away like sometimes there are. Like I say, I thought it might be a little bit of an anticlimax after the Madness gig I went to on Friday, but that was absolutely fantastic. And I was pleasantly surprised this evening by how good it actually was. So I'd certainly say if you like the jam and the style council music and you know a little bit about Weller, then again, he's someone you should go along and see. It was the fact that his performance was so good. It was about the music, but also the way he performed the music. Shout out also to Steve Craddock, his main guitarist, who's also part of Ocean's Colour Scene even. Wow. And then obviously on the drums, Steve Pilgrim. So we had him as a band in the band as well. So they've got a strong lineup. The band was very, very good. I like a bit of sax. Yes, I did say sax. Thank you very much. You can't beat a bit of sax. It's absolutely fantastic. And there's plenty of that in a Weller set. So, the saxophonists were really, really good as well. I was impressed by the musicianship of them all. So, yeah, a great night overall. And like I say, my creative director insisted we did this one. So this is dedicated to her, even though she didn't even like Paul Weller. But yeah, it's dedicated to her. And yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed listening to what I've mused about and ramblings. But yeah, I hope I've done a good job. And like I say, if I haven't done a good job, she'll be straight on to me on tomorrow to tell me off for it. Okay, then. Thanks a lot. See you soon.